This is a direct message to those who call themselves educated, thinkers, leaders, and anyone who's ever taken a paycheck and believed they understood the system. If you can read between the lines, you already know this message is not just words. It's a signal, part of something bigger. This is a real challenge, a test of intelligence, integrity, and depth. Because while the surface world, the so-called 3D world, has its place without characters and morals, it all collapses. The world is on a stage right now, a kind of World Series of consciousness. And the irony is that most don't even know they're in the game. So here's the real question. Can you evolve past labels, past ego, and past systems, and still live with principles when no one's watching? How you interpret this message says everything about you, not me. I'm just a messenger. And as for who I work for, well, I guess that's for you to figure out. Hello. My real name is Mary of Magdala. Not Mary Magdalene, that's incorrect. However, whatever. My mission in life is to set the truth right and restore balance. Because where I come from, we didn't live in a world like this. And the people that have been worshiping false gods need to be taken down. And I am on a mission to do that as I find my husband, because when he was nailed to the cross, I was raped and our child was taken from us. And a lot of bad things have happened to me, and they've continued to happen over the last 2,000 years. And I'm not okay with it. And I haven't been able to speak because of all the lies that were told because of religion. And the stories about me are untrue. But a lot of them, and the people that were trying to find the truth, found me. And you know who you are. Thank you. I know who I am. And I want to find my husband. And although I know where he is now, I still have to do things right, because we have a set process that we have to follow as a team. Because as a prophet, you don't have a choice. Because we're servants to a higher being, and I'm okay with it, because that balance, when restored, gives us the best gift that has ever been given, and that is heaven. And we are on our stairway to heaven right now. And I thank you for everyone who's believed in me and my husband. At this point in the game, if you haven't figured out, was Mary a prostitute? Absolutely not. However, was she misunderstood to be one? Absolutely. Why? Well, in this game, it depends how you got into it. How you are related to her. Did you buy her for sex, thinking you would get it, and then misled down a tunnel of, oh my God, she's not that? Or did you just want information because you were curious about your history? Or did you want information because you were curious? Or have you wanted to help? Or have you wanted to pursue a relationship? What category do you fall in? Because you have to fall into one at this point. And I can see the difference, so let's go. But she was always a loyal wife. Always a loyal wife. So, said, what area are you studying? What part of the game are you in? So the truth is, behind Mary, Virgin Mary, when we knew the story, she was raped, right? So we figured that out. That's where that comes from, raped from her father. Jesus is a product of incest. We're at the point that I'm hoping a lot of people understand. So I'm sure Mary has a lot of anger. A lot of anger because she's never been allowed to speak. And it's funny because these illusions of fear, right? Where fear is really in our mind. Danger is a different thing. Present danger. But fear being in our mind connects to PTSD. Because if things happen and you weren't in a safe environment growing up, well, it's dangerous. And it came to my attention as I got my memories back and my line was healed. Memory. I remember so much. I've switched places with other people, but my line has been a line of abuse for a very long time. So of course I remember being a witch, being burned at the stake. But let's think about this for a second here, because you have all these people surrounding you as you're being burned. Generally a lot of them from the church, saying we're witches and this, whatever else, but not recognizing their own sins. They're threatened by, in history, somebody being a witch or anything like that. Well, it ties it a lot back to homosexuality and the fears of that. Because the underlying fears, God forbids homosexuality, and then turns out most people are molesting their children, and because they're told by that, because the man traditionally was afraid of, the issues with the woman. So you either suppress them because they believe to be the lesser sex, right? Oh, you're the lesser sex, so this is how it has to be. But if they're having any suppressed gay thoughts, well, that's against God. So then they become abusive to less than their children. They're abusing power over their children. And then it's saying in the Bible, God saying, you have to respect and honor your parents. And kids are fucked into a situation where that's their safety net. And this has been going on now for so many thousands of years, right? Because we rely on, our basic needs to be met, which goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're letting people abuse us, and then that becomes embedded in our brains for so long. Right? Die and be real. But it seemed I was in the same loop for so long. So as much as I joke and I could, whatever, I've switched heads with different people. Switched heads with killers. I've switched heads with murderers, serial killers, rapists, pedophiles, gang leaders, mobsters, mafia, religious leaders, you name it, I've done it. And that's why I had to separate who's in what line, because I had to figure out when is this my brain and when is this me and my family. And then which obviously we're all connected to each other, but where does that go really? And then where is everybody in this world? And that's when I say other side, right? Can't get that detailed, Robert, in an Instagram message. As other side, I know you understand it, but fuck these other ones, right? They don't, right? Because they're still doing a Hollywood thing, and you're like, I know you got it, but I couldn't give you the details on that. Sorry. It's any contact in this world, right, messes up that timeline. So on my scientific side, I didn't set out to understand that, okay? Like in 2020, I just had a mental breakdown. That's it. I was trying to help the world. I fucking had a mental breakdown, and that's why I can see what I could see. And then but truthfully, right, as I've discussed many times, when I was in the hospital, and especially, and I was more outside of my world, it was clearer, the instructions, and it was very fast. So it was like everything was told to me very fast. And now we have to slow down those timelines to get more and more people on board, to get everybody kind of in where they need to go. So how is it right? So we're watching the unholy, and I'm fucking the creature 100%. That creature's not so bad, because the church, that's the demon. That's your mirror. Because so long the lies in the Bible have been punishing people for things they shouldn't be punished for. And it wasn't even that long ago. I'm sure it's still happening in this world, but I mean in North America, like my mom was giving the shock treatments and different things and whatever else, but oh, you're a lesbian, so we're going to punish you. We're going to punish you because that's against God, and we're going to put you in a mental institution and we're going to torture you. The doctors have been torturing people for so many years. And that's gone alongside with what the church believed to be right, because you're mentally ill, because you're homosexual. And you're not seeing the injustice in that? You're not seeing the injustice in that? I know I'm Mary. And Mary has two sides to her. In this world, you call it bipolar. I call it being empathetic to reality. I see the people who have never been really seen. I understand the people who have really never been understood. That's all true. I had to understand who I was. I had to get back every memory of Candace's past, to go deeper into the past, to get Mary's memories back. And I have them all. I absolutely do. And it's true. Mary hates doubt. And the irony is, though, everybody else had to play Mary to get Mary to become awake. That's why Mary's lived through so many people for so long, just like Jesus. Right? We travel around. That's the point. That's why Jesus, right? I feel Jesus. I see Jesus. Jesus appeared to me. Mary appeared to me. Right? And the spirits, and they live through us, just like other spirits live through me. But the claim I make is Mary. She's mine. And she'll live through and pass back and forth, but Mary's mine. And that I had to really, really understand. I needed to say it and accept it and understand it in my soul. Because if I didn't, I'd be a complete hypocrite. Because I am a reluctant leader. And what I see scares the shit out of me. Because that's a big deal. Because the church has scared me for a very long time. Who I am as a person, always never disrespected homosexuality, genders, race, anything. But the truth is, if I were labeled gay, I would have had a hard time with that. In my world, in my reality, absolutely. I know I wouldn't have been accepted in my family. I was already having issues with that in the first place. There would be no love and acceptance. And I couldn't believe that a God would do that to someone. Because a God doesn't. It never would. Only a human would. And a human wrote the Bible. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I have to see this as just getting started. Everything was ripped from me. And the most important thing to me is my child. And I didn't recognize her anymore. I don't want to have a mean girl. I don't. I do not accept that. I do not accept a child who would lie, manipulate, and do terrible things, although I understand it, because she's hiding something tragic. And I believed her. She never said, she was sexually abused or anything, but I believed her that something was wrong, and I literally did everything in my power and everything I possibly could to help her. But because I already had the mentally ill stigma over my head, I have no credibility. And the only option was to use that to my advantage. And I absolutely have, because you have to accept all your circumstances as they are. And the truth is, we're all mentally ill. Every single one of us. It's just a degree of what traumas you've been through, how, who's been helping you mask your bullshit, who's been lying and covering shit up, but all of that's going away now. Everything's being revealed. The curtain's being revealed. Nobody can hide anymore, because I'd be lying if I said I couldn't see you all. That would be the lie. I would be lying if I said I couldn't see you. I can see your insecurities. I can see your lies. I can see the things you've done. So of course you'd want to burn me. Why wouldn't you? You wouldn't want your secrets getting out. I was never able to speak freely. Now you know why. Because going against the church was the scariest thing on the planet for me. The scariest. But just my spirit going back into the Vatican, caused me a fear that I can't even begin to describe. I had it recorded even on my phone, some of the things, and I went to go check the video to send the next day, and it was gone. But I know the right people already have it, and I know there's enough evidence proving who I am. But I'll do a good job of disguising myself. Candace is going to do a good job of doing what she needs to do to move on to the next steps. And she'll play, she likes the Marilyn coming out and doing those things, so that's a good claim to make too. But who I really am is Mary. Candace is dead. But she'll keep pretending to be alive. Works out better for the reincarnation thing anyways. Sucks when you have to actually go and you die. So just how I've laid out this game. So you have an understanding of the reincarnation with the internet. So you die. And you better hope you have an online presence. And I mean some sort of thing online, or following or fans, because it's an easier way to track people, and then you can actually see shit. Right? And then you can just rewatch your shit. Oh, there's my movie, there's my thing, whatever. And you get to choose where you get to go and who's watching your shit and building, and it's a little bit more fun. However, for the narcissist, you're going to watch your legacy crumble, fall apart. And like I said, with the reincarnation thing, you will be put into shapes and forms and bodies that are going to be painful and punishing, and you will get everything that you so judged is everything that you will get. And it's not going to be one lifetime. It's going to be centuries. Because it's clear to me now, going back to my memory, my line, and the people that are in my line now, right, as we've done this, have realized, whoa, we've been abused for a very long time. We've been abused for a very long time. And it's true that the underworld had to take over. And it has. It absolutely has. And that's the balance that needed to happen, because the people that were actually keeping us in the dark were the abusers. Yeah, I think the game managed to unite the world, at least the right people. I love you all. Quite literally saved my life seeing ghosts.